Hey there. Ready for a deep dive? We're tackling TimeGPT today.
TimeGPT.
Yeah. It could be huge, right? For anyone who's obsessed with data and trends, trying to predict what's next.
Absolutely.
You sent over some research from Nixila,
Right.
and they are not holding back on the claims.
Yeah, no. This is,
They're calling TimeGPT the first foundation model for time series.
that's a bold statement.
Which, okay, I'll admit that sounds a bit jargony at first,
Right.
but it's basically saying this could be as big as, imagine the
Yeah.
invention of the spreadsheet,
Yeah.
but for predicting the future
Yeah. Think about it.
of anything
Any field
with data over time.
where you're looking at trends,
Yeah.
you're trying to understand
Yeah.
what's going to happen next.
Yeah, exactly. So, from Wall Street to,
Predicting disease outbreaks,
totally different fields,
understanding customer behavior.
everything.
Yeah.
The paper really emphasizes how we're always grappling with uncertainty, right?
We are, yeah.
And that's where they see TimeGPT as
As this kind of like this new tool in the arsenal,
a
right?
potential game changer.
Exactly.
The paper makes an interesting point, though, right?
Oh,
They say that things like language processing,
yeah.
think about what AI can do with language now.
Right.
Image recognition.
It's crazy.
These fields have had huge GE leaps forward because of AI.
Absolutely. It's been a revolution.
But time series analysis, which is all about, okay, what happened when?
Right. The chronological data.
That hasn't quite had its big AI moment yet.
Yeah, it's been kind of lagging behind a little bit.
At least that's what they're claiming.
And they might be right. We've been using
Right.
essentially the same statistical methods for a really long time.
Yeah, for decades.
And, there's been some progress with things like deep learning, but it's still kind of niche,
Yeah.
It hasn't quite broken through.
TimeGPT could change all that.
I think it has the potential to, yeah.
So what's really got everyone's attention, this idea that it could be accurate across completely different fields without needing to be retrained for each one.
Retrained every time, exactly.
It's like this universal forecasting tool.
Yeah, you pointed at a problem.
Pointed at the data.
Boom, you get insights.
Okay, I have to say, I'm starting to understand the hype here.
Yeah.
But how does it actually work?
Okay.
Is this some super complicated algorithm?
It's actually, it's interesting.
Yeah.
The underlying tech is pretty elegant.
Okay.
They're using a type of AI model called a transformer.
Okay.
Now, if that sounds intimidating,
A little bit.
don't worry.
Okay.
Think of it like a super efficient pattern recognition engine.
Okay.
And it's already, it's been used in language processing.
Right.
And it's revolutionized how AI understands language.
Yeah.
And now they're basically aiming it at...
Time series data.
Exactly. Get this.
Yeah.
They trained TimeGPT on a massive data set.
Okay.
Over 100 billion data points.
100 billion.
100 billion.
That's like all the stars in the Milky Way.
It's an incredible amount of data, right? But here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not just about the size.
Right.
It's about the variety.
Okay, so just having a ton of data, that's not enough.
Not at all. Think about it.
Okay.
This data set, it spans finance, healthcare,
Right.
weather, you name it.
So it's pulling from all over the place.
It's incredibly diverse, and that's key because it forces the model,
forces TimeGPT.
yeah, TimeGPT, to learn patterns that hold true across different contexts.
Right.
So it's not just good at, say, predicting stock prices or just good at weather. It's learning these kind of more fundamental patterns that translate across different domains.
So it's kind of like the difference between someone who's only ever lived in one town their whole life and someone who's traveled the world.
Exactly. Their understanding is just so much broader.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
It's like that with TimeGPT. It's seen it all.
Okay, so we've got this super powered pattern recognition AI.
Yeah.
We've fed it this insane amount of data from every corner of the universe.
Is that a feast? A buffet?
But how do we know if it's actually
It's learned anything.
learned anything useful?
Right. It's not like it can take a test, right?
Right. It's not like it can write an essay
Or can it?
on what it's learned.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not an essay,
Not yet.
but they did test it, right?
They did, and they did it in a really interesting way.
Okay.
They call it a zero-shot scenario.
Zero shot. What does that even mean?
So imagine this.
Okay.
You've got TimeGPT, right? Fresh out of training on this massive data set,
Okay.
and you hit it with completely new data.
Okay, so brand new stuff it's never seen before.
Never encountered it before.
Like a pop quiz?
Kind of, yeah. but with data, right?
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat, so what happened?
Well, they used these metrics, RMAE and RRMSE.
This sounds familiar, but...
Yeah, they're basically just ways to measure how far off a prediction is.
So, like, lower scores are better?
Exact, closer to accurate.
Right. The lower the score, the more accurate the prediction.
Oh.
TimeGPT is scoring impressively low.
So it's doing well.
Very well, even compared to, the more established forecasting methods out there.
That's wild.
And remember, this is all in a zero-shot setting.
So no practice, no hints?
No hints, nothing. It's like showing a chef a brand new ingredient they've never even heard of before.
Yeah.
And they can still whip up this, like, Michelin star dish.
Okay, that's
pretty impressive, right?
That's seriously impressive. So are they saying that TimeGPT is, like...
the be-all, end-all?
Perfect, yeah.
Well, hold on a second.
Okay.
It's important to remember that this is still very early stage research, right?
Of course, of course. And the researchers themselves are very clear about that. They're not saying TimeGPT is flawless.
Okay.
But the results so far,
yeah,
they're really, really promising.
Promising.
Yeah. And you know what? The fact that they're acknowledging that there's still room to grow,
okay,
that actually gives me even more confidence in their work.
Really?
Because it shows that they're thinking ahead.
Yeah.
You know?
That makes sense. Yeah.
They're not just like, oh, we've got this perfect thing.
Right, right.
They're like, no, we've got this really cool thing, but let's see how we can make it even better.
They're already thinking about the next steps.
Exactly.
And that's what we're going to get into.
I'm excited to dig into that.
Me too. Yeah. Because they've got some really interesting ideas for where to take this next.
Absolutely.
Okay, so TimeGPT, already pretty impressive, right?
Yeah.
Blowing minds with these zero-shot forecasting powers.
It's doing well.
But the researchers are saying this is just the beginning.
Oh, yeah. This is early stages.
Like, buckle up. There's so much more to come.
They've got some really exciting avenues they're exploring.
What kind of next-level stuff are they cooking up?
So one of the big ones is this idea of informed forecasting.
Informed forecasting?
Yeah. Have you heard of that?
I mean, I've heard the term, but...
it's kind of like, imagine giving TimeGPT a little extra help.
Okay, so like...
a little bit of a cheat sheet.
Instead of just throwing data at it.
Yeah, because right now...
you're saying, okay, TimeGPT, figure it out.
It's just spotting patterns.
Right.
Yeah. But it doesn't necessarily get the why behind those patterns.
Right. It's not like it understands what the data actually means.
Exactly. And that's where informed forecasting comes in, right?
Right.
It's about saying, okay, we're going to give TimeGPT some domain-specific knowledge.
Okay, so like the stuff that the experts in a field would consider.
Exactly.
So if you're forecasting like energy consumption, you might feed TimeGPT data about like
upcoming holidays.
Yeah, holidays or
major weather events.
Yeah. Weather events.
Even things like,
like local sporting events or something?
Right. Anything that might cause
a spike in demand.
A change in the pattern.
Right.
That it wouldn't necessarily pick up on just from the raw data.
So it's like we're combining TimeGPT's like raw processing power.
It's horsepower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With like good old-fashioned human intuition.
Exactly. You're bringing those two together.
Okay, I like that.
It's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, there was another concept they mentioned that really caught my attention.
Okay, what is it?
Time series embedding.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
What is that?
Right.
Is that like, I don't even know where to start with this one.
It's kind of a mind bender.
Yeah.
So imagine being able to measure how similar different time series are.
Okay.
Even if they're from totally different fields.
Okay. Totally different.
That's what time series embedding is trying to do.
So, like, I could take, like...
it's like creating a map
okay.
of all possible time series.
Okay.
And the ones that are close together on the map, they share some kind of underlying pattern.
Oh, interesting.
Some hidden connection.
So, like, a stock market crash.
Yeah.
And, like, a viral outbreak.
Okay.
As different as those things are, they might actually have similar shapes on this, like, map of time series.
That's the idea, and that's where it gets really interesting, right?
So then you could...
because if we can understand...
yeah, like how things that seem completely unrelated actually share these patterns over time.
You could predict...
that changes things, right?
You could anticipate things in ways you've never even thought of before.
You could maybe even see... like a heat wave coming.
Okay.
Not by looking at the weather.
Right.
But by analyzing like social media trends or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because there might be some hidden connection there.
That's kind of wild, right?
It is wild.
Like, it makes you think differently about
It really does, yeah.
what data even is.
And that's the deeper potential here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like the researchers basically saying there might be this hidden language of time itself.
Whoa.
A kind of universal grammar for how things change.
Okay, now you're blowing my mind.
Yeah.
This is big.
It's exciting stuff.
Yeah, this is getting kind of deep.
It is.
Let's bring it back down to earth for a second.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
let's get practical.
Practicals, yeah.
How do we actually use this thing?
Exactly. So TimeGPT.
Yeah.
It's amazing in theory.
Yeah, it looks great on paper, but
can I use it?
Right, can I download it?
Right now.
Yeah.
Can anyone just like download it and start making predictions?
So they're rolling it out in stages.
Okay.
Currently, it's in a private beta.
Okay, so it's limited access.
So you have to request access from Nixla.
Okay, go to the source.
Yeah, they've got a Python SDK.
Okay.
And a REST API.
So for people who,
Yeah, for the coders out there.
They can at least get started, like tinkering.
They can start integrating it, into their systems.
So if someone's listening and they're like, I need to get my hands on this TimeGPT thing right now.
Yeah.
What do they do?
Head over to Nixla's website.
Nixla.
Nixla.io and see if you can get in on that beta program.
I have a feeling
it'd be a popular one.
That beta program is going to fill up quickly.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of buzz.
People are paying attention.
A lot of people interested in seeing what this can do.
All right. So, big picture.
Yeah.
It feels like we're on the verge of, like, a major shift.
A paradigm shift, maybe?
Yeah, in how we understand.
No, I think about it.
And work with data over time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's big slide.
That's huge.
But before we get too carried away with all the possibilities, let's bring it back down.
Back down to earth.
To you, the listener.
Like, what could this all actually mean?
Yeah, what does this mean?
In a real
everyday life.
Tangible way.
Yeah, exactly.
We've been talking about TimeGPT.
Yeah, this potential revolution in forecasting.
This idea that we might be able to
change how we make sense of trends and patterns and
in all these different areas.
Practically every field imaginable.
So let's bring it back down to
to you,
the
listener,
the person listening to this right now. Like
what
does this actually mean
for you?
For your work, for your daily life,
for your decisions.
Your decisions, yeah.
If TimeGPT
delivers on even half of what
the hype is,
what could that look like?
Yeah. What changes when accurate forecasting isn't this
because right now it kind of is.
It's a luxury, right?
It's expensive.
It's hard to do.
You need
specialized knowledge. Yeah,
specialized knowledge, specialized tools, all this.
What if it's just readily available? What if anybody can get these insights?
What happens when that uncertainty is reduced?
Yeah. What opportunities open up when you've got a clearer picture of what might be coming?
And that's kind of what I'm curious about.
Yeah.
What opportunities do you see?
In your field.
Yeah, in your field, in any field.
What could you do differently?
Because we've talked about the tech, but this is bigger than...
This is about more than just numbers.
This is about, making better decisions.
Making smarter choices, maybe spotting those trends before they happen.
Before your competitors do.
Yeah, getting ahead.
Before, a problem.
Right, or maybe even getting ahead of problems before they blow up into bigger things.
Yeah, that's powerful stuff.
It is powerful. And the thing is...
And the crazy thing is...
We're just getting started, right?
Yeah, this is
TimeGPT is still...
early.
It's a baby. It's just learning to walk.
Who knows what they're going to find.
Exactly. And that's the exciting part.
Yeah. That's what I hope people take away from this.
Stay curious, right?
Stay curious.
Keep asking those what-if questions.
Yeah, because the future isn't
It's not predetermined.
It's not set in stone.
That's something we're
actively shaping it.
Building.
With every decision we make.
And tools like TimeGPT might just give us that
little edge.
That little bit of...
To shape it in a way that benefits everybody, right?
Yeah, that's
I like that.
A great way to put it.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, this was fun.
Into TimeGPT.
Absolutely.
It's been illuminating.
A lot to think about.
Until next time.
Keep those brains buzzing.
Yeah, keep those curious minds going.